Hello again. I notice that the news seems to be increasingly full of stories which are so bizarre that only a few years ago they would have been taken for satire or perhaps April Fool's Day gags. Drag queens in leather bondage gear being invited to read stories about homosexuality to small children in libraries and art galleries, of course, falls into this category, as does a Conservative government which is keener on mad schemes to save the environment and increase immigration than any socialist administration has ever been. To illustrate the point, I want to talk about two news items in the Daily Telegraph, one for April Fool's Day and one for the following day. In the description to this video I give links to both items, but don't look at them yet because I want to ask you a question. Let me give you the gist of the two pieces which appeared in the editions for April the 1st and April the 2nd, and see if viewers can guess which was the April Fool's Day joke and which the genuine item of news. Both concern the net zero agenda. The first article is a piece which says that the government are so worried about cows farting and that this will increase the level of greenhouse gases being produced in this country, that they're going to introduce a law which will force all farmers to give their cows special tablets to stop them from farting. This will have the effect of increasing the cost of a pint of milk by 33 pence. The other piece is to the effect that various tall buildings could be converted into wind turbines in an effort to meet the net zero targets. It is suggested that the Angel of the North could be fitted with a wind turbine to this end. It is honestly not easy to guess which of these stories is a joke, and I rather suspect that most viewers would be unable to say for certain which was a joke article, which was a spoof, which was really news. When you stop to think about it, this is a truly extraordinary state of affairs. April Fool's Day's jokes in the newspaper are now all but indistinguishable from genuine news. What about a primary school in Lincolnshire which has banned girls from wearing the red gingham dresses which have been part of the uniform there for decades because they're trying to make the uniform gender neutral? I'll give a link to this piece also in the description to this video. And this is yet another example of freak show Britain. I dare say that viewers will all have their own favourite stories, which they find almost incredible and show just what a state the Western world in general, and this country in particular, are in these days. Girls choosing to have their breasts amputated, men deciding upon voluntary castration, Ramadan being celebrated while people are worried about putting up Christmas decorations in the office, censoring Roald Dahl's books. The list is endless. There are, it seems to me, two possible explanations for the condition into which we have got ourselves now. The first would be that we are far wiser than other people in the world have ever been, and that our wisdom is also a lot greater than that of the previous generation in Britain. As a result, we now know that there are 693 genders rather than just 2, and that we must knock down all our power stations and replace them with windmills. The other explanation would be that we are so well off these days in comparison with the people in Asia and Africa that we now have too much time on our hands. Whereas previous generations in Britain, as well as almost everybody in the less economically developed parts of the world right now, are so busy working hard enough to pay for their food and so on, they didn't have time to sit around dreaming up a lot of foolishness about sex changes and 15-minute cities. In short, our greatly increased leisure time has proved a double-edged sword, and we have started questioning a lot of stuff, like the essential facts of biology, that the rest of the world still takes for granted. I will not say to which of these two schools of thought I belong, lest my opinion should affect those who are undecided and still open-minded about the question.